Hi, welcome to Psyched with Rena. In this episode, we're going to be talking again about living at home with your parents during the COVID season and what to do when you find yourself acting really young and immature, kind of regressing to your younger self. Now, first, let me introduce myself. My name is Rena Chinn. I'm a psychotherapist in the Seattle area, and I primarily work with Asian Americans. And during the COVID season, I'm seeing lots of young adults moving back home for various reasons. It could be that your college is online. It could be that you are unemployed. It could be that you can work from home on the computer, and so you've chosen to save some rent or find some company and move back in with your parents. Now, the problem is that as we're back home, sometimes we regress to our younger selves, in that we end up in patterns with our family where we tend to enact things that we did when we were younger that we wouldn't normally do in the regular world. The first part of this series talked about setting boundaries with your parents when they start to treat you like you're a little kid again, how to make clear what your expectations and desires are. The second in this series talked about what to do if you want to form a deeper, better sharing relationship with your parents. And this episode is what to do with yourself when you find that you are acting like a younger self again and you don't really want to be. To get a handle on this, we need to realize that the family is kind of like a machine operating together. It's a whole system, so that if one part changes, the other part has to change in response to it. So part of the healing in a family can come when we change up the system a bit. Let's say you have a kind of a script that you go through with your mom. She'll say, "Hey, honey, it's cold, put on a sweater." And you'll say, "No, Mom, I don't want to put on a sweater." And then they'll come out with a closet and say, Here, take this sweater." And then you'll say, "I'm not wearing a sweater, Mom." Now that could be a common script that goes in your family. Or maybe you have similar ones you could think of. Write down here what they might be. But if you have these common scripts, the way you can change it is to actually develop your mindfulness and figure out a different way to relate. Maybe it is a little cold and maybe you might want a sweater, but because you're reacting to your parent in a certain way, it ends up playing out the same way each time. We want the opportunity for things to play out differently. I'd love to hear what kind of scripts you go on in your family. You can write them down here and subscribe to hear more about how to work with families during the time of COVID. Ring the bell to notify for new videos. So let's say you can identify these common interactions you have with your parents. The trick is for you to become more mindful and realize when you're triggered and what to do about that. You can check with my other series on triggers, anxiety, and movement and your body to learn more about that. But what we want to do is identify what's going on for us when our parents say something that triggers us. I have a client, Jen. He grew up with a pretty angry dad, and he finds that generally outside in the world, he's very social and friendly, but when he's at home, he also has these unexpected bursts of anger. He is used to watching his dad really get angry when he wasn't getting things his way, and he's developed that trait when he's in the home. How do we examine ourselves so we cannot repeat the patterns that we had seen when we were growing up and that we have developed when we were younger? Now that we're not teenagers anymore, we can take a moment and notice when we are triggered by our parents. Let's say they'll say something that's irritating to you. "Eat more of this, honey." Then my client might blow up and say, "Mom, I don't want any more," or "I don't want to do that." And instead, the opportunity is to dial down and say, I am really annoyed. My mom keeps asking this and I tend to respond in this way. How can I play that out differently? In the boundaries video, I talked about certain languaging, telling your parents you notice something and you prefer a different way of interacting. Another tool you can use is to tell your parents that you need more time to think about what you want, and so you're not going to take their advice immediately. For example, honey, put on a sweater, put on a sweater. You could say, wait, Mom, I want to check outside and see if I need a sweater, so that you can judge your own body temperature and your own discernment too if you want to. If your parent is saying, eat this, eat more of this, rather than lashing back, you want to realize your trigger to go, I'm okay. Let me see. I really don't think I'm hungry for any more right now. Or let me see if I'm still hungry. And you can listen to your body and your hunger cues and see if you want to eat more. The key in changing the system is to tell your parents that you're going to enter a different process. Let me decide. So if they are pushing something for you to do, and your tendency might be to disappear because you don't want to do it, or to yell, or to get really annoyed, then that's the time to pause and say, what do I really want? I don't know if I want to go here. I'm not sure if I want to eat this or if I want to wear a sweater now. Let me take a minute to decide. This puts the control back on you and not on your parents. The wording can go something like this: wait, or you can internally pause and get more mindful, noticing that you're triggered. Wait, let me decide if I'm still hungry and want to eat more. Let me check out the weather and see if I need a sweater. Give me a minute to assess my work schedule to see if I have time to visit Grandma. Too often when we're living at home, our younger self comes out because our parents are used to parenting us. They want to tell us how to be safe and what to do to live healthy lives. And now that we're adults, we need to make it clear that our decision making might not be the same as theirs. So think about next time you're feeling like your parents are pushing something on you, and you might go into your child self to pause instead of saying, let me think about whether I want to come to this family gathering or not. Let me consider if I want to wear a sweater or not right now. Or let me decide if I want to eat some more or have some for leftovers later. By doing this, it makes it clear to our parents that we are actually in a decision process. Too often we will just kick back and rebel, and we may force ourselves into a decision we don't want to make. And to give us the maximum freedom, we want to just say, let me pause. Let me decide if I want to do this. Does that make sense to you? If it does, and you want to hear more, I'd like you to click the like button and subscribe to hear more of the videos. Ring the bell to be notified. Anyway, this is Psyched with Rena. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.